Wayne and I are in front of the Episcopal Church where we come every Monday morning for breakfast, and it's pretty cool. It's not like the Episcopal Church in Chicago over on Fullerton, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Have you been to that one?
Yeah, I have. I also been to the one downtown near Water Tower.
Oh, the Presbyterian.
Yeah,
that is the most beautiful church there.
Yeah, this one rivals it, though. I know that much. Episcopal is actually the same one. It's sort of like your Catholic, but the priest can marry. That's the only difference.
Yeah, I think this is the one. They got the Archbishop of Canterbury as the head, unless there's a king, and then he's the head of the church in England.
Yeah, you also have great candy, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Canterbury. Hershey owns them now. People don't know that.
Who does Hershey own?
Hershey owns Canterbury now. They sold it like 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
It was British, and then they sold to Hershey a few years back. Yeah, so it's kind of American British, but they still sell Cadbury pretty well in Britain. But it's now American, I guess.
So you're in Los Angeles, but you still like the Bulls.
Oh yeah. I like all Chicago teams except the Cubs.
Oh yeah.
Where part I'm from, but yeah.
Well, from the South Side, I used to go to Wrigley Field where Cubs suck hat.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I celebrated when the White Sox won the World Series in front of Wrigley. So that went well.
Well, they're crazy out here. When I first got here 5 years ago, a guy was wearing a San Francisco Giants hat to the Dodger Stadium. He got beaten to death.
I heard, yeah.
So I bought a San Francisco Giants hat, and it was just stolen, right off my head, within 3 days.
Oh yeah. They take it serious out here about the Dodgers. I don't know, but that's sort of like the rivalry between San Francisco, like Northern California, Southern California, period, and then. You got the Angels, Dodgers, and you go to Orange County, and they just don't like the Dodgers. But But there's not that many Angel fans even in Orange County, and they're talking about moving to Long Beach, by the way.
Yeah.
But you go down there, and as a matter of fact, I was down at Anaheim Stadium earlier this year, and I went past the apartments near Angel Stadium over there, and they actually had Dodger paraphernalia. So it's really strange, but yeah.
One very unusual thing about Los Angeles sports is they have an exact replica, or it's not a replica, it's Wrigley Field. There were two Wrigley Fields. One was for the Dodgers, or was it for the Angels? It was for the Angels. And it's exactly like Wrigley Field in Chicago, except it's abandoned, and they went out to Anaheim.
Yeah, it was Wrigley Field, they called it. I think it was over... I forgot where it is. And as a matter of fact, in 1948 here in Pasadena, the White Sox trained here, over near the Rose Bowl, which is now Jackie Robinson Park over there. And by the way, for people who don't know that, Jackie Robinson is from Pasadena. So
I liked the Rose Bowl very much originally, but they wanted to put in they remodeled it and they put in skyboxes, and it's not the same as it used to be.
Right. Yeah, it's not. But it's all right. I mean, Dodger Stadium's pretty nice. The outside part's beautiful. They got the roses and everything. Angel Stadium was nice in the beginning, and then the Rams played there in the 80s, and then they tore out that whole, like they did in Oakland, tore out the whole, that scene. They used to have that big A scoreboard, remember that? And then they took that out, because when the Rams did, they put like a football stadium, and then they took all that out again, put a waterfall when Disney owned it. Now they're talking about going to Long Beach, and Anaheim doesn't want the Angels there unless they have the name Anaheim, not L.A. So that's about it,
Well, one very strange thing about Dodger Stadium is it's got a huge parking lot around the whole stadium, and you almost need to take a cab from your parking space to the stadium. It's in Elysian Park, which is above Echo Park. It's on this hill, like right over the top of Chinatown. But it's like Elysian parking lot. It's like 20,000 cars can park there at one time. Like Wrigley Field, you go there, and you've got to find any place you can to park. You'll be miles away, but you're almost miles away here too. It's such a huge parking lot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, well. Wrigley Field doesn't have the parking lots that White Sox Park they do.
Yeah.
They've always had that because of the land over there in Bridgeport. Or, I'm sorry, Armour Square. Yeah. They have take my larynx out if I said it.
There used to be a housing project, and the blacks who lived there would throw bricks at you if you went to Comiskey Park as you're trying to just park.
Well, it was both ways, yeah, and then the whites. It was very racial over there. Unfortunately, not proud of that, but it was. I used to live there near Canaryville area, and it was, unfortunately, they were like that over there.
We lived close together. I grew up from the time 1 year before kindergarten until the beginning of 6th grade. I lived in back of the yards, very close to Canaryville.
Oh yeah. I know people there who came from there and still live there. That's one of the roughest parts of the United States.
Yeah, in the world. It was 8 blocks north of Inglewood, right over by Canaryville. I was a block away from the meat cutting rooms at the Armour and Swift. We got helicopters flying all over the sheriffs, and if we're not in LA, we're in LA County, we're in Pasadena, but in Los Angeles, those were planes, those military planes.
Yeah.
But
they stormed north of here.
Well, today's Veterans Day, that's what it was. But there's an air show somewhere.
Plus, I got to pay my taxes. Sorry.
Yeah. But in Los Angeles, you have helicopters flying over all the time, wherever you go.
Yeah, you do. They have like one helicopter. It goes from the police station, and they have a port over near Altadena.
Yeah.
So,
there's one right above the police station, right across the street.
I know. I've seen them land there. Yeah, across from the library. I've seen them there. Yeah. Usually, it's funny. It always happens when I'm like sneaking in food. Interesting.
Yeah. They won't let us eat there anymore. They used to. It was the only library that I knew of where you could bring in food. I could still bring in drinks, but up until just this past year, you could eat whatever you wanted in the library.
But then the cockroaches said no. So you figured that one out. Yeah.
What's dangerous is that homeless men sleep in Pasadena, which I'm doing now because they don't let you use a tent. And there are these guys who came by last night. They're part of the family that owns Magic Cleaners, the Arabs, and they were very threatening. And they said they're going to come back in half an hour and kill me. But I oftentimes sleep at the library. They don't care. In this library in Pasadena, they let you sleep. So if you can't sleep at night, just go to the library and sleep.
Yeah. No, don't do that. No, don't do that. You might, but you can go over to the Methodist Church and do that. Yeah.
The Methodist Church?
Yeah, Methodist Church. Yeah, they let you do that there.
Well, that's where I sleep at night.
Yeah.
Outside, on the sidewalk there.
Yeah, that's fine. But don't do that. But the thing is that but that's legal where you're at. Those guys you were talking to, I think they were Armenian or something, weren't they, or whatever it was. Doesn't matter, but but they came out there and they threatened. There's a lot of people that threaten homeless out here because they're drunk and they got nothing else better to do. So I ignore them. I don't.
So we're right in the middle of an air show, evidently.
Air show?
I think so. For is this Veterans Day or Memorial Day?
Oh, Doc, they're shooting. No, I'm kidding.
There they are.
Oh yeah, they're doing. That might actually land face first into the Rose Bowl. I think we better get out of here.
No, we got a little time. For those people who don't know Pasadena, it's changed a lot over the years. It's much better now than it used to be. There has always been a place where they're very rich and very poor, and a few middle class here too. But there are a lot of homeless people here, and there are people trillionaires like Nathaniel Philip Rothschild. They live in what used to be called millionaires row. Of course, $1 million isn't very much now. They're billionaires and trillionaires now. There's a restaurant. It's a banquet hall, but they use it as a restaurant on the weekends called the Imperial, and everybody's got a Rolls Royce over there.
Yeah. Well, they do. Especially up around the Rose Bowl area. Like it's Pasadena is sort of like you have the poor and you have the rich, but LA itself, or Southern California, or the state of California for that matter, you're either rich or poor. There's no middle class really here.
Yeah, that's the way they want it now, I think.
Well, but you do see middle class, say in Texas, or you go to Arizona and all that, you still see it. But here in California, and that's always been the case here, though. They've always been like that. So
like the fifth largest economy in the world, like California, and so many people are poor. I mean, I see advertisements now, and I know these people. They can't shower, so they buy this. Pantene, it's a shampoo that you don't need water. You spray it in your hair and you just comb it out. I mean, that's a pathetic situation where you've got trillionaires living in town and they won't even provide showers for people.
Well, actually, Pantene, you do need water. I know that for a fact. I use it, but yeah. No, there's a big discrepancy. I mean, they were like raising rent. They have rent control now. Finally, in Pasadena, just passed it last week or last week Monday across the street at City Hall over here. They went to midnight on the votes because people protested. There were people getting out, like here in California, you can sign a lease, but they can up the rent in your lease, which is the most asinine thing I ever heard in my life, but they can do that here. So people end up out here. People, if they get misplaced, that's gentrification.
So you're saying if you have a year or 2 year lease and you're committed to a certain price, they can even raise it?
Yeah,
with the lease?
But that's going to change. But they just signed a law up in Sacramento that you now have statewide rent control. So you can't do it. But they had over at the convention center back in September, one of the landlords that runs at the union, he told all the landlords, go ahead and raise it now before it kicks in. And so they did, and these people, there was like record amounts of people getting, like on blocks were getting out of their homes so they can raise the rent, and they were doing it in Monrovia and all that. So finally they had a meeting on it and now said they can't do that, and even now they've kind of extended it. Now they have rent control up to January 1st, and then it's a statewide thing.
I want to talk to you about Monrovia. Let me stop it right here. We're just past 11 minutes, so we'll do another one.
Okay.